Hey everybody, this is Frankie Arizino with the Uncensored Report. I wanted to touch a little bit on these protests that you're seeing on the screen. If you look, there's two of the largest ones right now, Washington Post and CNN, two progressive, very progressive, left-leaning organizations. They're media outlets, sure, but like many media outlets, they have their leanings. No Muslim ban, and that's what's so ironic about this thing is it's not a straight out Muslim ban, folks. And I put out something by Milo, who is a gay activist out of London, and he's conservative, and he put down the countries that were listed and how many countries were not listed on this ban list. Somebody else pointed out that this was actually a list that President Obama put together in terms of countries with extremists that should be heavily vetted. And so a few things that's going on here. The media, the left, a lot of the left-leaning major media are weaponizing, what I call weaponizing these shots. But what they're not doing is illustrating. It's fine to put this out. You want to see this, you want to get this information out, but they're not giving the other side of view on the people that want a ban, a temporary ban, which this is, until proper vetting can take place. And they're not showing that. And they're not emphasizing that. They're not emphasizing that this is a temporary ban. It could be 30, 60, 90 days until a vetting process is in place. You may say, oh, there is one, but there isn't one. If you talk to everybody, there is nothing in place right now that will break through, that will get through a lot of these individuals that are sneaking into the country. They do stuff like this. Are you Muslim? Are you extremist? No. Okay, you can come into the door. That is not a vetting process. Also, weaponized major media, besides the whole temporary thing and the ban thing, is they're now listing that, hey, this isn't all Muslims. They got these signs up there and everybody's been pushing it's a Muslim ban. It's not a Muslim ban. They're not banning all Muslims. They're not banning all countries. And believe it or not, countries do not allow others to come in. There was a list that I'll share in a minute. It broke down all these countries that do not let Israelis in. It's very common if you have concerns. So I wanted to put out the emphasis. Trump's executive order blocked entries from Iraq, Iran, Syria, Somalia, Sudan, Libya, and Yemen for 90 days. All countries that have extremist elements within them. Not sure how Saudi Arabia did not end up on that list because I would have put them on there, but they're not on there. And we all know the extremists that have filtered out of there. That is temporary. A lot of emphasis. It is temporary, and it is not a ban on all Muslim countries. And if you look at these countries that were listed were identified by Congress and by Obama as being high-risk areas. So this should not be a surprise. Muslims from other countries such as Saudi Arabia, Egypt, who has a ton of extremists in it, Turkey. We all know what's going on in Turkey right now. These countries were not blocked. And again, it's until proper vetting can come into play. Do you want people to just be led into this country without knowing if they're coming from extremist elements? We've seen what happened in Europe, folks. Do we want that to happen here? The purpose of this block is to prevent domestic tourism from coming to our shores or try to prevent it. No person living or residing overseas has a right to entry into this United States, folks. So when you see these videos, you got to remember it's weaponized media. CNN, the Post, put up this stuff, and they do not give the other side. So they lead a lot of individuals out there to suspect that the whole country is against this, and it's not, folks. I understand there's some people out there that want the Muslims here. My dad immigrated here, and it would have sucked. He immigrated from Italy back in the 40s, just after the war. It would have sucked, and I'm pretty sure they did this if they said, hey, we need some extra vetting. The guy's coming out of Italy. We don't know what kind of elements were there. This was right after World War II. You got that whole mafia scene. And so they did go through some type of vetting process then. They didn't just open the door and say, hey, all Italians, come on in. We want you to our shores. They had to go through a process. Before it was Ellis Island. Ellis Island closed down when my dad came here. So why is it okay to do it for the Italians after World War II? The Germans after World War II, the Japanese, but not Muslims? especially in this situation that come from these extremist element countries. This has been Frankie Abbruzzino with the Scoop News.